Hello, hello. How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for willing to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I could just jump around a bit before getting to Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah, sounds good.
So I know everything started in terms of the voice acting alliance.
Yeah, a long time ago, 2011, 13 years.
Do you remember what your like first professional job would have been?
Whew, let's see. It's probably a commercial gig. I think around 2011, 2012, I did a commercial for Virginia Lottery that ran for 2 years for National Teacher Month. That was pretty cool. But in terms of character work, I worked on some stuff with Sound Cadence when they were first starting out.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they work on a couple of visual novels from Kickstarter. And so I worked on a couple of those with them. So that's probably my first. Oh, yes. No, first paid job. First paid job was Otome game called Burn Your Fat With Me, which
Uh,
was quite something for the time. It was like an exercise thing.
what was the what was the timeline of when you moved to LA then?
LA. I moved to LA 2 years ago now. I was in Glendale at first. Made a lot of good friends out here. Um, Now I'm in Burbank.
Is there a special story of like how you got into SAG too, if you are?
Um, let's see. Well, I mean, SAG is, you do your three jobs. I'm not sure how much you know about getting into the union, but you do one SAG job, which I was a SAG extra for something in like 2011, and didn't really think much of it at the time because I was like, acting, cool, whatever. I don't know how serious I'm going to take this. I'm just
Yeah.
starting out, and so moved out here, booked two SAG projects, which was really awesome. I think both of them are still NDA. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, I'm just really happy to be here doing what I love.
I take it. Have you always been like a pretty big anime and like anime video game kind of
Oh yeah,
person?
oh yeah, yeah. Back in the VAA days, especially, you know, everyone who's out here professionally now, almost everyone, who started on VAO in particular, learned how to mix their own fan dubs, did their impressions of whatever voice actor they thought they sounded like. Mine was Johnny and like Todd Habercorn and stuff like that. But sorry, what was the question again?
Just like I'm sure you were always like a big anime video game
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. My favorites when I was just getting started was Guilty Crown. Um,
Yeah,
the first thing I ever did, like decent sized project of my own, was I did a full episode fan dub of episode one of Guilty Crown, and I remember doing it, and I learned so much about audio engineering and sound effects and all that stuff. I was like, you know what? Yeah, yeah. This is a career I don't know, maybe. Yeah, all right.
are you mostly getting hired for your natural voice too, or like close to it?
Surprisingly, no. A lot of my bookings out here are either Italian accents. Braca from Arknights is an example of that. Um, or let's see, I voice Artisus in Ethergazer, another Italian kind of light. Um, and then if it's not Italian accents, it's Italian based. Like I voice Hitman in something. And then I voice like a Roman soldier, Commander Belisarius in Rise of Kingdoms, who's from Italy, Rome. So I'm like, yes, I'm doing Italian. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Well, if you could pick a single thing, what do you think the cases where you've had to alter your voice the most for a role?
Hmm. Probably something I did pretty recently. I, excuse me. I voice a police officer in something that's not quite out yet. An update for a game. and it's probably the lowest with the added texture that I've had to do in a while. I voiced a dragon way back, and that was a lot as well. But compared to this newest thing, this is probably
What about the darkest headspace you've had to go?
I I'm more of the outside in acting style. I mean, I've certainly done the internal for example, in my time at Sandrock, where I play Fang and Stev. Fang is this doctor, and he uses Chinese medicine, and he's, very emotionally damaged because of like things that happened to him in their past. And so, definitely had to dive a little bit into, what was going on with him. But in terms of, we're not going to Joker levels of, acting in the method, etc.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you think you prefer working on more dramatic stuff opposed to comedy, or?
Honestly, I just haven't had a lot of opportunities to even audition for comedy stuff. My agent, who I'm with right now, AB2, they've started sending me more anime and video game copy, but there's just not a lot of animation copy that's not going out to like the top tier agencies first. And I'm still, trying to make my way to like your CESDs, your Atlas, um, and I'm happy with the work that I get and the audition opportunities that I have. And a lot of stuff I do book is a lot of stuff that I, do the direct marketing myself, or I've met somebody in a class, or made a connection with like a casting director, and stuff like that. Where it's like, hey, do this audition. I think you'd be a good fit. Boom, cool. Yeah, you got it. I'm like, all right, not gonna complain about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was really cool that you get to be the new voice of Liu Bei.
Yes, I'm so excited. I've already got it pre-purchased on my PS5, so when that comes out. I'd like to stream it, but we'll see. That was probably the biggest project I've ever done so far. It was 13 hours of recording for my role, and the first thing we started with was a ADR scene, so matching flaps, cutscene, and I was like, okay, guess what? Just jumping right into it, and I'm already nervous, like, oh, it's Dynasty Warriors, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh boy, all right, we're on our A game, let's go. But that was a blast. The director was amazing. Made a good friend with the audio engineer, Brielle, and it's just a fun project. There's lots of great talent on it. I'm really honored to, you know, be in the same project as some of these people like KG and Brent Mukai. I think Kaylee's in it. Yeah, Kaylee Mills is in it. Brandon Winkler, my roommate, is also in it. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. I played the demo. Gameplay's great. It's definitely different than before, but it's a good play.
Could you easily relate to his character at all?
I'd say so. Yeah, I definitely connected with him. He's very idealist, but when plans don't go the way he expects, he sits in his feelings, takes a second, and refocuses, gets back on task. And he relies on his friends well. So he hits a lot of those tropes. Yeah.
Do you think you connect more to him or with Chulainn?
In a way they're similar. Chulainn, he's a fighter. He's looking for something better, and Liu Bei is trying to build something better. So there's definitely a lot of similarities there. I do like having these kind of characters with a bit of an arc to them where they develop, like going back to Fang and Sandrock. He starts off barely able to speak, like, I see what you mean, like very stuttery, very stammery. And as it goes and continues to the game, his voice comes back and he starts being able to talk more and lose a lot of that social anxiety. And I wish we had more lines for Cullen. In fact, I was very surprised by his name pronunciation. I was really expecting like kind of more of that Irish Welsh kind of Chulainn-ishness.
Right.
But we don't have Horin or Holin either. So, but I'm just hoping that they remake Holy War, but we will see.
Was that when Fire Emblem came up? Was that a pretty general audition for you?
I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it was. Got it through my agent, and they sent me 2 roles. Audition for one, I was like, okay, not really me. It was kind of more of that energetic type, and I'm like, okay. But then we saw the other guy. He had a code name. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I was like, okay. He seemed like he's got a little bit of like regret in here, and I'm like, okay, can definitely kind of glean a little bit from that. So, you know, and based on the audition text, he had, kind of that regal touch, just a little bit of that princeliness to him. So I, gave him a little bit of good enunciation, and yeah, just tried to let him live.
It does sound like it's pretty close to your natural voice.
Yeah.
Too.
If anything, it's just more idealistic, I guess. Probably, it's like I'm Cullen, a simple swordsman. a little bit of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Patrick or Christian or Caitlin or somebody directing you?
It was Christian. First time working with Christian. Yeah, Christian's great.
I was going to ask what your experience was working with him because I've talked to him too. So
yeah. It was the first time at that studio too. So working my way through town. Would love to work back at Kappa, but we will see.
Were there any other, besides what we already talked about, were there any other ways that you could connect to him?
To Colin?
Yeah.
Well, as I said before, the princeliness, I instantly drew a bit of a link between him and Crom. And you could probably hear just a little bit of that in the delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just in the way that some of the emphases are. And I'm like, no, I'll notice that, right? Oh, but yeah, definitely really respect Matt Mercer's performance. Awakening's still my favorite Fire Emblem, closely followed by Sacred Stones because I've played it just so many times.
Okay.
Ephraim and Erica. Yep.
Do you have a single favorite line, if you can remember anything, or like if you've gone to look back at since he's been released?
Let me think. I like them fighting for money line. That was a good one. It's like, I've only ever fought for money, but it has left me feeling empty of late. That was a good one. And beautiful girl line, obviously. It's like, I am a man who had his heart be stolen by a beautiful girl. A foolish man. So yeah, those are both probably some of my favorites from the session. I finished the session so quickly. I was like,
were you very previously familiar with the genealogy games?
Not really. I'd heard of Fire Emblem 4, but I didn't know, I didn't know the pro tag or, much about it. I did my research after I booked it, of course, with Sigurd and everybody, have a little bit more context for him. But at the time, no.
Were you already playing Heroes at all?
I played Heroes a lot when it came out. Quickly realized that if I was going to keep playing this game, I was going to start wailing. So I was like, I can't afford this.
Who did you use the most for Heroes?
It's been so long ago, hard to remember. I think who did I have? Did I have Seth? I can't remember. It's been too long.
Okay. Well, I would just guess if you said that Awakening is your favorite, if it was like mostly characters from that, or
Yeah, I'm more of like a stats player when it comes to stuff.
okay.
But I don't think Crom was out at the time, but I probably would have used him if he was.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if you've seen, but like the fandom response to your performance has been all like totally positive.
I've seen a little bit. I saw on the YouTube video, it's like, oh wow, yeah, awesome. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. So I've been trying to engage with the fans online when I do see posts about it. Um, so
What do you
yeah, I'm
think
glad
of?
people like it. I'm you know, put everything I could into it. Tried to. I like to make my performances very grounded, even when they're kind of in this anime style.
Yeah.
I've got a project coming out probably in 3 or more months that it's the first project I've done of its type. That's really all I can say about the project itself. But even with it being in this style, I tried to bring a bit of heart and realism to it.
Mhm.
Um, and so I'm not typically doing a lot of the big projected like typical anime sound, but it comes across the table. So
Was there any basis off the Japanese with Cullen, or did you not hear that?
they did have a couple refs for some of the lines, not all of them. Um, and so I think it's two of the lines they wanted like almost an exact copy. Um, but the rest were just like feel it out. Yeah.
What do you think when you saw his design for the first time?
I was very surprised. I didn't have really any information about it until the actual session. So I'm like, okay, guess we're doing this. It was such a masculine face, for example. I'm used to like the rounded kind of anime face. I'm like, how old can they be? I'm like, oh, got it. Okay, so late 20s, 30s. I'm like, okay, let's see what I got. Um, um, but yeah, I looked up the original images online, like the sprites and everything, and I was like, oh, that's what they look like. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I was really surprised. Apparently, this update, they've been waiting on for like a really, really long time. Like I know a friend of mine, Keepa Walker, who voices one of the crew in this
Two.
update. Yeah, 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 yeah. Was waiting for 3 years to post, and I'm like, wow. Because I think I recorded like maybe 3 months ago at best.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I didn't have to wait. Yeah, but yeah, my Ryan McKeon, another friend of mine, also in it as Medea, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's nice to be in something with a bunch of people I know.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing with the fandom too is that there's always so much hype when characters from the genealogy games get in because there's so much of a gap between when they get added. So it's always like extra exciting.
I bet. Yeah, yeah. Still hoping. I mean, if they made Almond Celica, then I guess we'll see.
Hmm. Is there something that you want to say to the fandom for the community then?
Something to say. Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for the positive response to all of this characters updates. This group. Really glad you like what we're putting out there. It's always really encouraging to us voice actors to know that we're doing something right, especially with a property that you guys love so much. And I I guess I will speak for all of us when I say we hope that we get a remake, but we will see.
Well, my final question is always asking what you want your legacy to be.
Sorry,
What do you want your legacy to be?
legacy. Whew. Big question. I mean, everyone I'm sure aspires to be, your Stephen Blooms, your man. There's just so many greats out there that, you know, think about Cowboy Bebop, your mind automatically goes to, oh, that's that person. They voiced that person. You know what I mean? Having a character that keeps on even after the show or game is decades old. So really, you know, having the opportunity to be in this industry until fingers crossed, but hopefully AI doesn't completely destroy it, or just make it all celebrity work. You know, there's a lot of games out there that are turning their NPC stuff into, you know, AI, TTS, whatever, which is really disheartening. But, you know, when it comes to legacy, just, you know, to leave something behind that people remember and, you know, just be respected and remembered for, you know, what we did and offered to the community and, you know, left impressions on fans at conventions and, you know, just getting to live.
Mhm. Well, thank you. I'm glad that we got to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first interview about a character I've done before. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hope you have a good rest of your day then.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Bye.